congressperson couldn't come in here and run a city. They can't do it.
What's the difference between a congressperson and
Because
like
a
a mayor?
congressperson is into debating. Mr. Speaker, I rise on behalf of the state of Idaho. And in our state, they do that all day long. You got 5 minutes to talk to a bus driver about getting out there driving that bus so you can go pick up that old lady. You ain't got time. But when you go to a police precinct, I rise to tell you guys that one day we're going to go over here to D.C. and listen, man. We talking about how many runs we making per day. How many people expect us to be there 4 to 6 minutes, and we ain't getting the money, we won't have the manpower, whatever. Solve the problem.
Yeah.
Or people going to get hurt. Congress could argue all day and nobody dies. Nobody is missing a bus. Nobody is dying of some disease that's paralyzing the city. Congress is a debate realm where executive leadership, the person sitting in the mayor's chair, he has to be, or the president's chair, he has to be concerned about not only the legislative branch, but he has to be concerned about the actual old lady that's in a senior building that if she doesn't get rescued, she might burn to death. She might suffocate. So you are concerned about people's lives in a way that the legislative function, you have to be policy based. Why that's important is everybody can't write policy.
Yeah.
Everybody can't amend policy. They call it unintended consequence. I was in the legislature first, and you could change one word in a bill, and it has a completely different effect and impact on the citizenry than you thought it would have. So a may and a shall can change how much money you get, who gets to be involved in the program, how much money your city gets, what position did you have in the bill. And so there are two different types of leadership. But that executive leadership, like you said, presidents, governors, mayors, that's a very stressful job because you have to wear all the different hats. I need to be able to communicate to people at Cass Tech and their parents. And I also have to communicate to the business community around Cass Tech that says there's too many children around here and there's too much crime. What are you going to do to be able to balance all of us together?
Right.
So we create Midtown. We create the stadium district. We create the things that are happening. And so just get rid of Cass Tech and move it. Well, that's one perspective. The other perspective is this has been here a long time. How about we build a new one?
Yeah.
And how we impact people to do it. And that is a different perspective. That's why everybody can't do the job. And a lot of business guys, they do well interfacing with the business community and then do horrible relating to the citizenry. And you only had a few people in history that were able to fit. Snyder never did it. Snyder could never relate to the people.
Yeah,
he was able to do the business stuff and make the business arguments, had these strategic sessions. But the old woman in Okemos, he couldn't talk to. He couldn't talk to the young people at Michigan State. He couldn't understand how do I relate to these people in a way that impacts what I really want to do in a positive way. And that's the difference between a politician and a business guy. Whereas Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, I have to know a little bit about the business. I have to understand the cyclical nature of the economic base of the city of Detroit. I have to understand the automotive manufacturing industry and how we diversify our industry to health services or more service-oriented or entrepreneurial businesses. I got to be able to speak that language. And then I got to go right to Linwood and say, listen, man, if I don't do this stuff downtown, man, none of y'all going to have no jobs.
Yeah.
None of you going to have no opportunities. How do I create opportunities for you? Is I got to get money from it. I have to be able to have both of those discussions in the same day, sometimes in the same hour. And that is a thing that's very difficult for people to be able to grasp and impact the city in a certain way. But those people are also scary.
Why you say that?
They're scary because one group always feel the other group has more influence over you. Give you an example. Mayor Dennis Archer, he came out of a law firm, Silk Stalking law firm.
Yep.
He was from, did most of his growing up in the adult years in the city. He was part of the city, Palmer Woods community, the whole thing. Yep. But when he got to the office, people started to believe that he was more inclined to the corporate community than he was to the people.
Right.
So when there was a snowstorm, it was like
he called hell.
He was with them more than us. And it was, I believe that was a little skewed, but that's how people attack. So the people got mad and said you're with them. Kwame Kilpatrick comes and he's able to speak to the business community, created more of this development than we'd seen in 50 years, all this kind of stuff. But when things start happening, they think I'm on their side more than the business community. Yeah. So immediately when I run for re-election, they raised $3 million for Freeman Hendricks to beat me. He's our guy, that's their guy. People in the business community are always very, very nervous about somebody being so close to the people. Maynard Jackson, Marion Barry, Coleman Young,
Yeah.
too close to the people. And then the people are frustrated when somebody is too close to the corporate structure. So the balance for a mayor in a city like Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago, cities that are old traditional cities where you have a large black community, ethnic community, and then you have heavy, heavy corporate and business interests, it's hard to walk that line and do well in that city.
How many calls do you get in the middle of the night as a mayor? In the middle of the night, like, do you ever have a night where you could just sleep straight through and you don't have to worry about anything?
Yeah, you can have a night like that or a couple nights like that. The problem is, I had alerts for crime alerts, and I wanted to know, especially in my first term. And people probably remember I was out there on the scene. You know, if somebody got shot and it was happening. So I was leaving the house. You know, Deron probably remember this. You know, I was leaving the house 2, 3 in the morning, going to the scene of some horrific activity, because the number one role of anybody in government is to deliver confidence.
Yeah.
I can't change your life, but I can give you the confidence that you can change it with our help. I can't just change. Joe Biden, Barack Obama is not going to change your existence. Their job is to stand up and give you the confidence to believe that you can under their leadership.
Yeah.
And that's what mayors are supposed to do. That's what police are supposed to do. It's only 4,000 cops. There's no way they can, quote unquote, stop crime. But you want a chief that can stand up there and say, we're going to deploy new officers to such and such. We're going to have a wide office. You want confidence in the police. You want to believe that they come in when you call, that they're out there for you. But they can't stop it, but they can deliver the confidence that if you do something. All of us have been involved with communities that we said out of our mouths, you don't play over there. Don't go over to that community. Them people going to arrest you. When I moved to Dallas, I lived in a town called South Lake. Every black person that was riding through South Lake, they stopped. They were stopping you. I got stopped twice. And the second time I got stopped, when I got out the car, the guy said, hey, Mr. Kilpatrick, just wanted to say hi and welcome to our community. The first time, it was like, who are you? What'd you do? The license and registration. Second time, it was like they went, that first guy, he went and put it on the list, okay? But I felt so comfortable there after that. They're not playing over here. That's what politicians are supposed to do. When you create that atmosphere, Jerry Oliver, people love him or hate him, he helped to create that atmosphere in Detroit. And I mean, the cops was murmuring and complaining and mad, but the atmosphere here was that you shouldn't play. Jerry Oliver got them boys working. What we saw, what we saw in the first 3 years of Jerry Oliver is the most dramatic crime and decrease since the 1960s, and Detroit hadn't seen it since. Why? Because the rebellion against that is tough too.